All right, this week, NFL owners from across the league will be meeting in Minneapolis to vote on several possible rule changes. This morning, we want to take a deep dive into what rules are being considered. David Harrison from our Locked On Commanders podcast joins us right now live to talk about the highly anticipated meeting. David, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I can't complain. I mean, we're good. So let's talk about this controversial. One of the things they're talking about, the controversial tush push play. Yeah. This is back on the table. Some people are mad about this. What say you when it comes to the tush push?
Yeah, I think, I see both sides of the coin here. I think, the old adage of it's the defense's job to stop a play, don't have the NFL do your dirty work for you. I certainly get that, that side of the conversation. But there's another side of this conversation, too, that, Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu talked about on Good Morning Football, where this does look more like a rugby style play than it is a football style play. And if you go back to the late 1800s and Walter Camp, considered the father of football and all that stuff, he created the line of scrimmage, the neutral zone, to get the game of football more further away from rugby, make it more unique to the American style of playing the game. And the tush push kind of just goes back to some of those old things that were in place before the line of scrimmage was enacted. So if the NFL did a better job of just enforcing some of the natural rules they already have, then I don't think we would have necessarily gotten to this point. But the Green Bay Packers, who proposed the ban to the tush push, actually revised the language of their proposal to make it illegal for any player to simply push or pull a ball carrier on the field. Of course, a big part of the tush push is the players around and behind quarterback Jalen Hurts, getting behind him and shoving him forward, which is where the push part comes in. And so if you ban that, you ban a very big part of the tush push, which would essentially get rid of that play altogether.
You know what? Obviously we're in Washington, so we're doing well here. But for Green Bay to be out there, is this sour grapes? Let's be real here. David, is this sour grapes from the Green Bay Packers because they can't beat Philly when it matters?
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly how it's going to be taken. And I think they had to be aware of that when they submitted the rule change proposal. But, really, they've been against it since before just getting eliminated from the playoffs. So I guess if you want to, give them full credit for that, at least they were originally complaining about it before it really truly impacted the end of their 2024 season. So you could go there if you want to. But yeah, I think every NFL team kind of understands that when you submit these rule changes, that's going to be the first thing people look for is how do you benefit, which I think when you look at the playoff reseeding rule change proposal, the Detroit Lions submitted, at least they're a division champion submitting this rule. And so it's not like a wild card team. Like had the Packers submitted that rule change, then it really would have been looked at as sour grapes for sure. All
right, let's move on from the tush push and talk about players actually being able to compete in flag football in the Olympics. That may be a thing, and it seems like Jaden Daniels, this would be a no-brainer for quarterback for that team. And who else would you like to see from the Commanders playing in the Olympics if this does happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that you can see playing in the Olympics if it gets approved, which it is expected to get approved by the league today. I mean, Terry McLaurin obviously is going to be a popular player to look at, and at the same time, as players get a little bit older, we've seen this with NBA basketball. Now, granted, in recent history, there's been some older players who decided to go ahead and play in the Olympics and represent their country and all that stuff. So certainly everybody has their own individual motivations, and I think Terry is a guy that even as he gets closer to that 30-year-old mark, where in the NFL it's kind of now everybody wonders, okay, are you going to take that downward turn? Physically, I think that he would probably really enjoy the opportunity to try to represent his country. And then some of these other athletic players, a guy like Frankie Louvu, could he be someone who's really intrigued in the option of going out there and representing your country on the defensive side of things, given his history, his heritage, recently becoming an American citizen. His parents are working through the process to do the same. So he's another interesting person. But the game of flag football is quite different than the game of American, tackle football. So it'd be interesting to see how many NFL players try to take advantage of that proposal and how it actually works with the current, flag football players that are out there playing that style of football specifically.
All right. Well, David, thank you very much for your time this morning. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.